Hey, are you ready for a new portion of mind-bending riddles? Crank up your logic and attention, and let's go! Three friends, Lindsay, Carol, and Jane, were collecting seashells on the beach to make necklaces. Each chose the most beautiful shell to place in the center of her creation. Lindsay picked thin white shells that look like pearly spirals. Carol chose flat pink shells that seemed straight out of a fairy tale. Jane decided to add a shell with beige net-like patterns, a glossy surface, and a small opening at the base. Now, one of the girls is in serious danger. Can you guess who? Look at that information board at the beach. Jane added a geographic cone shell to her necklace. It has venom that is fatal to humans. Uh-oh. Carrie, Samantha, and Ben were together when Carrie's phone went missing. Of course, none of them admits they took the phone. The security checks the CCTV cameras, and you can also take a look. Who do you think took the phone? Obviously, it wasn't Carrie. Samantha had tight jeans with no pockets, so she had no place to hide it. Ben had no bag at all, but a hoodie with large pockets, the perfect place to stash a phone. So Ben must have been the thief. Today's virtual meeting of the Cat Lovers Club has 3 new members. They're proudly showing off their pets. Aw, so cute! But one of them is lying. They're not a real cat lover. Who's the imposter? Look closely. Behind the guy in the center, there's a dog peeking out from the doorway. This means he's the imposter. Gary, Nick, and Ben share an office fridge. One day, someone put a piece of unwrapped fish in it, and now the whole fridge smells terrible. Each of the guys has an excuse. Who most likely put the fish in the fridge? Gary is vegan and probably telling the truth. Ben mentioned strawberries, and the wrapper in the trash supports that. Nick claimed he never opened the fridge, yet he had a container leaking fishy water. Meaning, he lied and most likely put the fish inside. 3 friends, Jamie, Linda, and Sue, posted on their stories that they're heading to work. But one of them actually decided to ditch work and go shopping instead. Take a look at their social media to see who's lying online. It's Sue. She posted a photo on her way to work, but the reflection gave her away. She's holding a shopping bag, not a laptop, so she's just pretending to be working today. A group of tourists is going camping with a local guide on a remote island. It's so wild, it has no internet connection whatsoever. When everyone wakes up in the morning, one of the tourists notices his expensive camera is gone. He asks the guide about it, and he says he didn't see anything suspicious as he was watching YouTube videos all night. The tourist realizes the guide has something to do with the disappearance of the camera. How? Well, there's no network signal or Wi-Fi connection. It's impossible that the guide was watching YouTube videos all night. Lady Rose, a wealthy heiress, was traveling by a high-speed train. She had a box full of jewels with her. After the train left one of the tunnels, Lady Rose noticed that her box was missing. There were 3 other passengers in the train car. Doug said he had just lost his job and didn't care about anything happening around. Mia said she hadn't seen anything, as her eyes had been tearing from all the fumes coming from the train. Steve said that he had bought his favorite author's new novel and was busy reading. So, who took the box? It was Mia. Modern high-speed trains are electric and don't produce any fumes. Let's test your attention a bit. Lisa is having dinner and watching TV after work as usual. Can you spot anything odd in this picture? The mirror reflects a completely different TV program. Alice and Sam are spending their honeymoon at a perfect beach resort. Yet, something is off here. Can you see it? There are oranges growing on this palm tree. They'd better move away from it just in case. Stan ordered red roses for his wife's birthday. The delivery guy arrives, and his wife is over the moon, but Stan is really mad. What happened there? Well, these flowers are definitely not red roses, and the card says, "Love M." So, there is some mysterious M on the horizon. A truck hit a man and he was lying on the ground unconscious. A detective who was there by accident rushed to the nearest shop to get some water for the man. When he got back, a passerby told him the man hadn't come to his senses. After looking at the scene for a couple of seconds, the detective told the passerby to return everything he had taken from the man. Why did he say so? When he first saw the man, his jacket was buttoned up. Now it's open and the pockets are inside out. A fancy watch designer presented their new collection at a penthouse party. All the watches were made of gold and platinum and were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. During the party, someone stole the most expensive platinum watch with diamonds. No one left the penthouse, so the robber must still be among the guests. Can you find them? Look, this lady in the corner has a really unusual necklace. It's a platinum watch that looks exactly like the one in the photo in the middle of the room. The lady was hoping no one would look for it on her neck. Nina came back from her lunch break and saw that someone had spilled coffee all over the papers that took her forever to finish. Her work bestie decided to help and ask others what they had been doing during lunch break. Drew and Cam said they had gone out to try the new Italian place. Liz was busy watering the plants in the office, and Sammy said he had been talking to his boyfriend on the phone. Can you tell who's lying here? It was Liz. There isn't a single plant in the office. Diana is a thief, and she broke into the house of a rich actress who showed her jewels in one of her interviews. Diana was after just one thing, a huge emerald. She grabbed it and ran out of the house. The guards were already waiting for her, but they found no emerald and had to let her go. Once Diana got home, the emerald was already waiting for her there. How is this possible? Diana came with her pet parrot. She trained the parrot to carry the little bag with the emerald and return home, so the parrot was waiting for her there. A famous businessman disappeared right from his home one afternoon. The police arrived and questioned everyone who was in the house at that time. The cook said she had been preparing dinner and hadn't left the kitchen. The maid claimed she had been cleaning the dining room after the businessman and his wife had had lunch. And the wife said that after lunch, she had been sunbathing and swimming in the pool. The detective immediately figured out who was behind the man's disappearance. Can you do the same? It was the wife. Look outside, it's winter, and there's no water in the swimming pool. Lisa's sister asked for help with cleaning the house, but Lisa said she couldn't make it as she had to prepare for her big and important math exam. Her sister accepted it, but once she opened Lisa's room to offer her snacks, she got really mad and stopped talking to her. Why? Well, the book Lisa was reading had nothing to do with math. She must have grabbed the closest book as soon as she heard her sister's footsteps and pretended she was studying. Nancy is traveling around Greece. A local guy offers her to visit an exclusive gallery with ancient statues no one else has seen before. She agrees, but then quickly realizes he's a scammer. How? This statue has a mobile phone, and this one is wearing headphones. They might be unique, but ancient? I don't think so. So, which of these puzzles was the hardest for you? Please share in the comment section.
Hey mystery fans! Get ready to activate your brain muscles and solve some pretty challenging mental puzzles. 4 girls, Lucy, Serena, Amy, and Kate, all claim to be mermaids who've taken on human form to walk along the shore. They're all gorgeous, but one of them is only pretending to be a mermaid. Who is it? It must be Lucy. She has leaves growing on her back, and it's a symbol of land, not sea. Real mermaids wouldn't have plant traits on them, as it would show they don't belong in the ocean. At a school reunion, 3 old friends, Cindy, Bob, and Michael, are bragging about how their lives have changed. Cindy says, "I married a millionaire and now live in the Maldives." Bob boasts, "I'm a pilot now, flying all over the world." Michael brags, "I became a developer and built my own app. Now I work for myself." But one of them is clearly lying. A small detail gives them away. Bob is lying. He claims to be a pilot, but he has a full beard. Commercial pilots must be clean-shaven because facial hair can prevent oxygen masks from sealing properly in emergencies. A train passenger, Miss Smith, reported that someone had stolen her suitcase. Police questioned 3 fellow travelers. Mr. Green said he was wearing headphones the whole time. Mrs. Chu claimed she was enjoying the landscape out the window the entire trip. Miss Jones said she was dozing off, but her suitcase was definitely next to her. But the officer noticed one important detail. Who's lying here? Mrs. Chu is lying. They were traveling at night and it was pitch dark outside. There was nothing to look at through the window. A seamstress has a 60-foot roll of fabric. Every day she cuts 10 feet off. On which day will she make the final cut? Rely not only on math, but also on logic for this one. She'll make the final cut on the 5th day because she only needs to make 5 cuts to divide the roll into 6 pieces of 10 feet each. You're in a room with 3 switches. All of them are currently off. Each switch corresponds to one of the 3 light bulbs in the next room. You're only allowed to enter the bulb room once. How can you figure out which switch controls which bulb? You gotta turn on the first switch and wait a few minutes. Then turn it off and quickly turn on the second switch. Now enter the room with the bulbs. The bulb that is on corresponds to the second switch. The bulb that is off but warm corresponds to the first switch. The bulb that is off and cold corresponds to the third switch. A grandmother, 2 mothers, and 2 daughters went for a walk in the park and decided to buy 1 ice cream cone for each of them, but they only bought 3 ice creams. How is that possible? Well, there are only 3 people. One is the grandmother. Let's say her name is Emma. Her daughter is Anne, and Anne's daughter is Stacy. Emma and Anne are the 2 mothers. Anne and Stacy are the 2 daughters, and Emma is the grandmother. That makes 3 people total, even though there are 1 grandmother, 2 mothers, and 2 daughters. A popular singer lives in a cool circular house with expensive works of art. One day, she notices the most expensive painting from her collection is missing. The police question all the suspects. The gardener says he was busy taking care of the flowers. The cook tells the police she was making a cake. The maid claims she was vacuuming the furniture and dusting the corners. Who's lying? The singer lives in a circular house. The maid couldn't be dusting corners, so she had something to hide. One woman crosses the state border every day on a bike with 2 huge bags. After a week, the border guards get interested in her. They search her luggage, but it turns out to be just old clothes. What is she smuggling across the border then? Well, she clearly isn't smuggling works of art or jewelry, but bikes. Someone pushed the actress who plays the leading role in a popular theater play down the stairs. Luckily, she survived, but she won't be able to perform. She calls the police, and they suspect it was one of the actresses who plays the supporting roles. Can you help them figure out who it was? The actress grabbed the person who pushed her and ripped off a part of their costume. This girl's costume is missing a piece, so it must have been her. The police got an anonymous email about an upcoming heist in one of New York's museums. To stop it from happening, they need to figure out at least the month the heist is planned for. Try to help the police and figure it out using a secret code. In this rebus, the jar stands for J, the umbrella stands for U, the lion is for L, and the yellow heart stands for Y. The heist is planned for July. The paparazzi are after a supermodel who's trying to keep her personal life a secret. She even planted cacti all around her house so no one can approach. But one photographer still manages to get close and snap some photos. The model wants to sue them, but how can the police tell who did it? This guy on the left has scratches left by cacti all over his body. It must have been him. A luxurious hotel got an anonymous call. There's an imposter among the guests who plans to rob others staying at the hotel. If this happens, it will ruin the reputation of the entire hotel chain. You can save the hotel from going bankrupt if you figure out who the imposter is. All hotel guests have the same bracelet, and only this guy on the right doesn't have one. He must be the imposter. A group of friends is hiking and sleeping in a tent at night. When they wake up in the morning, they noticed someone has stolen all their food supplies that were outside. They are miles away from other people. Can you help them solve the mystery? See those footprints over there? Must have been a bear. so the best they can do is forget about the stolen food and find a safer place to camp. On the 1st of July, someone stole a really important document from the office of a successful company. The boss was away, so they only noticed it several days later and figured out when it happened from the CCTV camera footage. The main suspect, who was the head of the competing company, said she was on vacation and even showed a plane ticket. But the police didn't believe her. Why? The ticket is for June 31st, and that date simply doesn't exist. Jennifer was riding her bicycle when someone sitting at a coffee shop terrace threw a disposable cup with cold coffee inside right in her face. There were 3 girls inside at that moment, and she wanted to know who it was. Can you help her figure it out? This girl is wearing a bright purple lipstick, and it's the same color as the mark on the cup that she threw at Jennifer. Roxy was alone at her parents' house and ordered a big pizza. When the courier arrived, she got really scared and called the police. What made her do it? The delivery guy was from a sushi place. She decided he was trying to break into the house. Nancy went on vacation and left her laptop password for her colleagues. But she loves riddles a lot, so she didn't tell them exactly where to find it. It must be a 4-digit code. Will you help them figure it out? This postcard with dice on it isn't there for nothing. You need to write down all the numbers. Yes, it's 7235. How many riddles did you manage to solve without pausing the video? Let's talk about it in the comments section.
Shonda was a contestant in a game show. The host called in 3 women with big bellies. The first woman said she was in the first term of her pregnancy. The second one said she was in her 3rd term. The last woman said she was 8 months pregnant. Can you help Shonda figure out which of the women is really pregnant? Judging from the size of their bellies, the first 2 women had no clue what they were talking about. The third woman had a belly size equivalent to 8 months pregnancy. So, she's the real mom. A fire broke out in the southern part of town, and 3 firefighters arrived at the building to tackle the problem. But the manager of the building immediately noticed one of them was a fake. How? It's the last woman. The first ones are legit, they're carrying the right equipment, and there are reflective stripes on their uniforms. But the last one has no stripes. She's just wearing a firefighter costume. Fran called the police because she hadn't seen or heard from her neighbor Derek for days. When the police arrived on New Year's Eve, they found Derek tied to a chair. Derek said some thieves had taken his money and laptop and left him stranded for 2 days. But the police figured it was all fake. How? Check the paper calendar on his wall. It's set for New Year's Eve. If he was tied to a chair, how could he have updated his calendar? Darren hosted a feast to celebrate his birthday. But as the guests were about to start eating, he got a text saying that the drinks on the table had been poisoned by one of the guests. To see if this was real, he proposed a toast. Luckily, he managed to catch the culprit. Take a look at this image. Can you tell who it is? Look at that guy sitting in the middle. He's holding an empty glass. He probably knew that the drinks had been poisoned, which is why he didn't pour anything for himself. Becca had just arrived from Egypt. During her trip, she bought a beautiful emerald necklace and wanted to show it to some of her friends. She threw a party for her closest friends, but by the end of the night, her emerald necklace had been stolen. Take a look at the security footage. Can you help Becca find the culprit? Look at that girl wearing a hat. At 1 a.m., her hat is flat, but at 2 a.m., her hat suddenly turned pointy, weirdly imitating the shape of an emerald. It must have been her. Alex needed to get across a park in the middle of the night in a dangerous town. He walked fast until, out of nowhere, a man knocked him out and robbed him. The next day, he needed to identify his robber. The detective gave 3 suspects a marker and asked them to write down their names. At the end, he arrested the right person. How did he know who to arrest? Alex was hit from the right side, so the police were trying to figure out who was left-handed. And among these 3 guys, the only left-handed one was the last guy on the right. On Brian's wedding day, he slipped on a banana peel. He hit his head, and when he woke up, there were 3 different brides in front of him. And one of these women was actually trying to poison him. Boy, is he having a day. Can you figure out who? Did you see the poison jar concealed behind that last bride's dress? She's probably the dangerous one. Bakerville Hospital is on the lookout for a fake nurse since a convict escaped prison and was seen entering one of the local hospitals, passing as a healthcare professional. Take a look at the image. Amy is about to draw some blood from her patient, while Lucy is about to inject a flu vaccine on another patient. Can you tell which one of them is the fake nurse? Well, it's Lucy. She doesn't have a syringe on her tray. So, how is she going to administer the vaccine? An old lady was shopping at the mall when she saw a woman dressed in orange at the cashier. The old lady started screaming, saying the woman was a convict that escaped from prison. The woman in orange felt really confused, called the police, and got the old lady kicked out of the mall. What exactly happened here? The woman was dressed in orange overalls, but it was just a fashion trend. The old lady mistook it for prison clothing. Kiki and Jack went to a wildlife reserve to produce some content for their social media followers. Each of them picked a wild animal to pose with. Which one of them is being more careless here? Take a look at the picture. Well, let's see. It's Kiki. The snake is too close to her face. It could hurt her. While the crocodile is simply interested in the meal that Jack is feeding him. Brandy and Michelle were both accused of being a vampire after they posted these pictures online. Take a look at them. Which one is a real vampire? It's Brandy, the blonde girl on the left. If you look closely, you can't see her reflection in the mirror. She must be a vampire. Jack works at the morgue. He's doing his morning round, checking on all the new arrivals when he feels something touch his legs. His heart starts beating really fast. How could this be possible? Take a look at the image. Can you figure out which of these bodies is still alive? It's the one on the right side. If you check it out, his hand is poking out of the bed. He must still be alive. Ew. Emma was living with 2 other girls in a tiny apartment. She had the feeling that one of the girls didn't really like her, and one day, when she got home from work, there were 3 apples on her desk and a small note. The note said the apples were a housewarming gift, but it didn't say from whom. Take a look at the picture. Are any of these apples safe to eat? The one that has the little worm in it is the safest one. Who knows, maybe the other ones are poison or worse. Jane and Brendan didn't really like each other, but they were sharing a flat because they were short on money. One night, Jane cooked Brendan a meal. A few hours later, he felt so bad he needed to go to the hospital. The doctors told him he had been poisoned. Take a look at the picture. Can you find any evidence this is real? Zoom in on Jane's knife. It has a weird black liquid on it that looks suspicious. It's gluey and has an orange tint to it. That must be the poison. Jason received a note from a girl in his school asking him out. But the girl forgot to sign her name on the letter. He has no idea who she was, only that she was in his class. Take a look around. Which girl do you think sent him the letter? Well, the letter was written in a red pen, so the girl who sent him was probably the one on the left, using the red inked pen. A police officer was following a robber around the city. Suddenly, the robber entered the hospital and disappeared. When the police officer entered the building, there were 3 workers. One of them must be the robber, who was pretending to be a patient. Can you identify this person? It definitely can't be this pregnant woman. It's also not the old man holding onto a wheelchair. It's the last man. He's pretending to be blind, but hey, he doesn't have a walking stick. I'll bet it's the robber wearing shades pretending he's blind.
Look at this picture attentively. One of these people doing planks isn't human. Can you figure out which one it is? It's the man on the right. Even though he seems to have a perfectly human reaction, he has 2 left hands. Weird. Now, how about these 2 ladies? Which of them is dangerous? The worker behind the lady on the left indicates that it's too dangerous to stand so close to the edge. So, this woman isn't dangerous. She is in danger. As for the woman on the right, she seems to be scared of the arriving train, but in fact, she is dangerous. Look at her belly. She's not pregnant. She's hiding something under her clothes. This scene looks like something from a nightmare. But once you get used to this spider woman, can you figure out who the prey is? It's actually the female monster. The man has a lasso to catch her. These 2 people seem to be in grave danger, but in reality, one of them is safe. Which one is it? Looking at the rope holding the man, it's tearing apart, so he's in danger. The woman is safe, at least physically. Now we have these two lovely grannies. Which of them is dangerous? What do you think? Look at the granny on the right. Her reflection is actually ahead of time, applying lipstick, while the real granny is just holding it in her hand. This granny is dangerous. The other just likes tartar, I'd say. I have a thing on my mind. It's super easy to lift, but hard to throw. Can you guess what it is? It's a feather. Do you know something that has 88 keys? It might sound exotic, but this thing is just a piano. I bet this riddle will make you think. Listen attentively. If there are 12 $5 coins in a dozen, how many $10 coins are in a dozen? 10, 12, 15, or 5? The correct answer is 12, since a dozen always has 12 elements. In a 7-story building, the higher the floor is, the more people live there. Based on this information, what floor does the elevator go to most often? The second, fourth, first, or seventh? If you have answered that the elevator goes to the first floor most often, you're absolutely right. Residents from all the floors must go to the first floor at some point. Almost all people have 10 fingers on both hands. Now, answer very fast. How many fingers are there on 10 hands? Even though it seems that the correct answer is 100, it's actually 50. If you disagree, find 10 hands and count each finger. A man says, "Everything I say is a lie." Does he tell the truth? Does he lie? Or is it impossible to figure it out? The man lies. Because if it was indeed the case, then at least one of his statements that he always lies would be true, and it creates a logical paradox. Look at these people. They seem to be sound asleep. But one of them has just sneaked into their bed. Which one is it? It's the girl on the right. She's forgotten to take off her heels. A security guard stops these women before they leave the store. He's sure that one of them is a thief. Look at them attentively and try to figure out which one is a criminal. It's the woman on the right. She's the only one wearing comfortable footwear, most likely for a fast escape. Mark and Amy were parents to a teenager called Jacob. One day, Mark's laptop disappeared, and nobody in the house could find it. They called the police. When a detective arrived and searched the place, he found a note on Mark's desk. It was written by Jacob. The note read, "Wow." The detective immediately figured out who had taken the laptop. Can you crack this case too? It was Amy. If you turn the note upside down, it'll read, "Mom." An archaeologist is exploring an ancient cave in an isolated area. When he's about to leave, the front part of the cave collapses. The man immediately runs inside to save his life. He sees 3 tunnels. Only one leads to safety. The first tunnel is filled with giant mice. The second is home to 12 grizzly bears. The third tunnel leads to a lake swarming with hungry sharks. Which tunnel should he enter? Even though it's not the most pleasant solution, the safest option is the tunnel with mice. They don't attack humans. Mary went to a spa to have a massage. At one point, she dozed off. When it was time to pay, Mary discovered that her money was missing. There were 3 people who could have taken the money. The first employee said that she'd had her lunch at the back of the salon. The second employee claimed she had gone to the storage room to get some massage oil. And another customer explained that she'd been waiting for her turn to get a massage. Who is lying? The second employee. Why would she need to go to the storage if she has a few bottles of oil right there on the table? How good are you at math? We'll see in a moment. If A plus A equals B, B plus B equals D, A plus D equals E, then how much is B plus D plus E equal to? It's the letter K, which equals 11. All these letters represent their positions in the alphabet. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, D equals 4, and E equals 5. 2 plus 4 plus 5 equals 11. And that's the letter K. Thomas loved asking his friends to solve all kinds of funny riddles. If they answered correctly, he helped them with whatever they had problems with. One day, Daniel came to Thomas and asked for help with his math exam. He knew the rules though. He had to solve one riddle first. What kind of running leads to walking? Thomas asked. Do you know the correct answer? Daniel said, running out of gas. And he was right. So Thomas helped him right away. Detective Lawson was working on a tricky case. One day, he vanished. His colleagues found an encrypted note on his desk. It looked like this. The officers knew Lawson had 3 suspects, Milana, Susan, and Emily. Which of them knows something about the detective's disappearance? After some time, one of the police officers cracked the code. D plus 1 equals E, L plus 1 equals M, and so on. It was Emily who knew where the detective was. Can you figure out which of these girls lacks common sense? Well, neither of them is the brightest bulb in the chandelier. The one on the left is going to post a photo of her credit card on her social media. And the one on the right is going to share the details of her ID and plane ticket with her followers. That's incredibly unsafe. Welcome back to our show. Before the break, Mr. Sanders here made it to our grand finale. How do you feel, Mr. Sanders? Nervous. Okay, now to win the main prize of $1 million, all you have to do is name 100 words that do not contain the letter A in 90 seconds. Start the clock. Can you help Mr. Sanders win the prize? He just needs to start counting really fast from 1 to 100. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There is no letter A in any of these numbers. Check for yourself. Laura had 2 admirers. One day, she urgently needed cash. But both men told her they didn't want to give her money. At the same time, they promised to buy her whatever she wanted. How did the young lady get out of the situation? Laura brought her first admirer to a clothing store where she chose an expensive coat. The man paid and they both left. The next day, the lady came to the same place with her second admirer and acquired the same coat. The third time, she visited the store herself in order to return one of the purchases. Voila! Neither of her admirers was going to suspect her of returning his gift, and she had the cash she needed.
A new ice cream parlor opens up in Matt's neighborhood. He goes there to check it out. It's pretty crowded because they offer 1 free ice cream serving to each customer. Matt meets a pretty lady named Kitty in the line. He falls in love with her right away, but unfortunately, she's already married. Can you find her husband among these guys? It's the second man. He's the only one who doesn't hold any ice cream. And Kitty is holding 2 ice cream servings, one for herself and one for her spouse. The next day, Matt missed his alarm. And now he's late for work. His boss is going to be furious. Matt might even get fired. But wait a minute. It turned out that the big boss is out of the office today. He's having a last-minute business trip, so Matt can relax. But suddenly, the boss calls him on the phone.
Hello.
Where are you? You got 10 minutes to get to the office. Matt replies, I am in the subway right now. Well, I got something I need you to do for me. Call me when you're in the office. Matt is a pretty genius liar. How did he fool his boss? Matt had a subway noise track on his computer. He played it when he was on the phone with the boss. Clever. Matt enters the local bakery on the way to the office.
Hello.
The cook brings 2 trays with fresh tartines. Take your time and try to spot 10 differences between them. Ready to see the answer? Here they are. What about these 2 breakfasts? Can you find 10 differences? Over here. Matt arrives at the office. Oh no. Someone has changed the password on their corporate computer. It consists of 7 digits. Matt texts his coworker and asks about the new code. He receives the following reply. Can you help him figure out the code? The number of fingers implies the right digit in the password. So Matt should enter 1, 0, 5, 2, 3, 1, and 0. Matt is an illustrator. His boss sends some files and asks him to separate the images and add some colors. Unfortunately, all the layers are merged. Can you spot 6 different objects in this picture? Here they are. What about this one? Can you spot 11 objects? Over here. Matt's sister, Ashley, is getting married. He arrives at the event, and she asks him to take a picture of her with some friends. But someone pranks the bride in the middle of the photo shoot and spills paint on her beautiful dress. Can you guess who did it by just looking at this picture? It's the man on the right. He has a rope in his hands, and it's tied to the bucket. Ashley changes and the wedding goes great. After the ceremony, they throw a party in a restaurant. This place is very popular among the newlyweds. Matt faces 3 brides in the lobby, and spots the fake one right away. Hello. What about you? It's the third lady. She's wearing regular jeans and sneakers under her dress. And also, she's wearing a wig. She must be just trying on a costume. The wedding dinner begins, and the waiters serve the first course. But suddenly, the lights turn off for 15 seconds. When the power is back again, Matt finds out that his golden watch is gone. Oh, no. He questions 4 suspects. Karen says, "I was eating the wedding cake when the light turned off. It was delicious." Nick says, "I was talking on the phone with my grandpa. When it got dark, I just continued our conversation." David says, "I was washing my hands in the bathroom." And Stella says, "I was taking pictures of the food for my Instagram. The local cuisine is so fancy." Who's lying? Karen. She said she was eating the cake. But take a look at the wedding cake. It hasn't been cut yet. The dinner has just started. It so happened that Matt is spending the Christmas holidays with 3 of his ex-girlfriends. They go to a fancy ski resort in Alaska. It was the first day of vacation when Matt was found poisoned in his bedroom. The police interrogate his ex-girlfriends. All the 3 ladies went away that day, and Matt stayed in the hotel for a nap. Megan says, "I was shopping all day long." Lola says, "I went to the beach to sunbathe and swim. When I returned, I found Matt lying unconscious." And Sophie says, "I went to the local coffee shop to write my novel. Nobody wanted to join me." Who's lying? Lola, it's Christmas time, so it should be very cold in Alaska. She couldn't swim and sunbathe outdoors. Finally, Matt gets better and leaves the hospital. Yeah. He returns to the ski resort and takes a look at the mountains. What are they doing wrong? This guy is riding a snowboard. He doesn't need ski poles. After the Alaska trip, Matt gets a new job in New Orleans. Oh, yeah. He finds a great apartment and moves in. 3 neighbors knock on his door to greet the new neighbor. One of these ladies is a real witch. Can you spot who exactly? The first lady brought a cake. It looks pretty innocent. The third lady brought a plant. Looking good too. But the second woman brought a basket with food. And there's a snake crawling around her gifts. Matt wakes up in a weird maze in the middle of the night. The only way to escape is to walk through this labyrinth. But unfortunately, there are 4 dangerous creatures waiting for him on the way. First of all, there's a Gorgon who turns everybody she sees into stone. Secondly, a werewolf. It's a full moon, so he's very hungry. The third creature is a tree goblin. He can grab people with his strong branches, and it's impossible to get out. And finally, there's a siren who can use her singing to make you do anything she wants. Luckily, Matt has 4 magic potions which can be helpful. Each potion has a 24-hour effect. If you spill the first potion on anybody, they'll become silent. The second potion will make any creature very weak. The third potion turns anyone into a vegan. And the fourth potion causes blindness. Can you help Matt distribute the potions among the creatures correctly? Matt should use the silence potion to neutralize the siren, use the blinding potion against the Gorgon, turn the werewolf into a vegan, and weaken the tree goblin. The next day, Matt receives a postcard. There's a note hidden in this face. Can you figure out the message? The features of this face form the word liar. Matt purchases a tour to see the sights of the state. He takes a nap on the train. After a while, he wakes up and sees that his tablet is missing. Oh, no. Matt interrogates 4 tourists nearby. Liam says, "Sorry, I was listening to the music and my eyes were closed. I don't know who did it." Willow says, "I think it was Ronald. He's very suspicious. Why would he need so many gadgets on a tourist trip?" Ronald says, "I have a bunch of my own gadgets. I don't need your old, outdated tablet." And Mary says, "I'm sorry, but I was sleeping. Can you spot the thief?" It was Mary. She hid Matt's tablet inside her magazine. Matt goes to the dining car. There he sees 4 tourists speaking an unknown language, so Matt can't understand them. But still, he manages to spot this lady's boyfriend right away. Can you see him too? It's the second guy. They have similar tattoos on their necks. Matt wakes up locked in an abandoned house. He finds 3 doors, but only one of them leads to freedom, and he has only one chance to find it. Hungry tigers are waiting behind the first door. There's a big fire behind the second door, and a werewolf is hiding behind the third door. How can Matt escape? He should just wait until the fire goes out.
Look at these squares. Which one is bigger, yellow or green? All these black and white squares usually confuse perception, but it becomes obvious that the green square is larger than the yellow one if we put them away. Eric is a police officer. One night, he was walking home from work and noticed a suspicious woman. She carried a huge bag nearby an expensive house. Eric questioned the woman. According to her, it was her house, and she carried some clothes she didn't need anymore to give away to her relatives. Eric arrested her immediately. Why? There are traces in the snow. Some footprints belong to Eric, and others to the woman. But the woman's footprints lead to the window. Why would she leave the house through the window if it really was her home? Therefore, she's a robber. Someone stole an expensive painting from a local museum. The guards locked all doors and windows in the building and called the police. Detective Roberts found 3 suspects among the museum visitors. George is an art student, and he was making sketches all day. Helen had a yoga class nearby and decided to check out the new exhibition. And Rick said he was just visiting the sights of the city as an ordinary tourist. Can you spot a robber among them? It's Helen. She hid the painting inside her yoga mat, and the rest of the guys have really small backpacks. Nina is an insurance agent. One day, her client Peter called her to an accident scene. He said that he had arrived at that area for a barbecue party and his friends would be there in 2 hours. He stopped and got out of the car. Suddenly, the car began to move and fell into the lake. But Nina didn't believe him. Why? She saw the footprints. He pushed the car into the lake himself. After dinner, billionaire Rick felt extremely bad. Doctors said that he had been poisoned. His private detective interrogated the cleaning lady, his wife, and the cook. Each of them claimed that they had nothing to do with the crime. The detective searched the house and found a jar with poison and a glove stained with poison. After studying the evidence very carefully, he realized who had poisoned Rick. How? The glove is left-handed, which means that the poisoner was left-handed. The only left-handed person is the cook. He holds a soup ladle in his left hand. Tom and Sarah were walking in a forest. Suddenly, a witch appeared in front of them. He grabbed Sarah and took her to a creepy castle. Tom rushed to the castle. He saw through a window that the witch turned Sarah into a frog. When the witch left the castle, Tom snuck inside to save Sarah. He found a spell book and opened it. There was a potion recipe to turn Sarah back into a human. Which ingredients should he add to the potion? Snail. Take away an S letter and you get a nail. An orange heart without a letter T turns into orange hair. Mr. Green is an old artist. He used to live alone, but he hired 3 nurses to help him around the house when he lost his sight. One day, one of the nurses found him unconscious in his bedroom. She called the ambulance. Police officers also arrived and questioned all the 3 nurses. Wendy said that Mr. Green asked her to read him a novel. and then she left him to cook dinner. Amy said that she had played video games with Mr. Green, and he seemed pretty healthy. Diana said, I came over and found him unconscious, and called the police right away. Who's lying? Amy, Mr. Green was blind, and he couldn't be playing video games. 4 scientists went to a physics conference in one car. It was raining all day, heavily. They drove into a long tunnel. It was very dark inside. When the car left the tunnel, Tina was unconscious. They stopped and called an ambulance. Detectives questioned all passengers. What were you doing when you were in the tunnel? Alex was listening to music with headphones on and didn't hear anything. Bobby was sleeping and saw nothing. Diana was focused on the road because it was raining and she had to drive carefully. Who is lying? Diana. It wasn't raining inside the tunnel. Lily got lost in a forest. She got thirsty, but there were no lakes or rivers around her. What should Lily do? Use the flesh of a cactus, collect water from leaves using a plastic bag, or drink from a dirty puddle? Cactus flesh has toxic elements dangerous for humans. Plus, what a weird cactus it is. These guys don't really grow in forests. Water from the puddle probably contains many bacteria, so the safest option is to collect water from leaves. Bill got lost in a forest. He doesn't have a lighter or matches. Help Bill to build a fire. He should use his glasses as a lens, direct sunlight onto dry grass, and wait until it lights up. He can also try rubbing a branch against another branch, but this process may take hours. Bob woke up in a creepy basement with 3 doors. There was a woman behind each of them. Can you help Bob find a safe way? Can you see animal claw traces? There's a wild animal behind this door. And the second woman doesn't look safe either. She has spiders in her hair. The third woman is the safest option, even though she looks like a witch. Kim and Stacy went hiking in a forest. They stopped for the night, and Stacy went to collect some berries. Suddenly, a witch appeared out of nowhere and turned Stacy into stone. Kim got nervous and went looking for Stacy, but she met the witch instead.
I turned your friend into stone. Find the right stone and pour this potion. It will turn your friend back to human.
The witch said these words and disappeared. Can you help Kim to save Stacy? There shouldn't be any grass under a real big stone. Meanwhile, Sarah has only been a stone for a few hours. Therefore, we need a stone with some grass underneath. Voila! It was Jerry's birthday. He brought a big box with chocolate cakes to treat his friends from college. When the class was almost over, Jerry went to the bathroom. He was so excited to celebrate and share treats with his friends, but the box was empty when he returned. Help Jerry find out who has eaten all the cakes. This lady over here seems pretty suspicious. Is this chocolate on her cheek? Let's challenge your color perception. What colors should you mix to get green? The correct answer is B. What colors should you mix to get orange? The correct answer is B. What color should you mix to get pink? The correct answer is A. Look at this picture. We can see Josh falling into a black hole while his colleague Jill is screaming for help. But the very next day, Josh has returned to the space station. How is this possible? It was April Fool's Day, and the astronauts decided to play a trick on Jill. Lisa told a police officer that her house had been robbed. The most expensive painting was hanging above the bed, but now it's gone. The officer asked, "Have you touched anything here?" And Lisa said, "No." The policeman recorded Lisa's story, and he looked around the house and arrested her for fraud. Why? The blanket is in perfect order. If someone had removed the picture from the wall, they would have gotten on the bed. There are 3 options: a desert with a couple of cacti, a sunny meadow with an apple and a glass of water, and a sea beach with sharp rocks. 1 bucket, 1 glass, and some plastic bags. Which place would you choose? There's no water in the desert, and cacti might be toxic. You can't survive on 1 apple and 1 glass of water, but the beach is a great choice. It will provide you with food, and you can prepare fresh water using the stuff on the shore. Put a cup into a bucket. Pour seawater, close it with a plastic bag, and place a little stone in the middle, and leave it out in the sun for a while, and it will get fresh water. Detective Fred was found unconscious. According to doctors, he was poisoned. The suspects are Helen, Nick, Jane, and Dan. Before the accident, Fred circled numbers in his calendar: 12, 4, 11. Who poisoned him? It was Dan. Fred encrypted the answer using the first letters of each month. Kelly and Sarah gathered together for a cozy sleepover. Sarah opened a dating app and showed Kelly messages from 3 guys. She asked Kelly to help her choose a good guy. Andrew just bought a new car and offered Sarah to have a ride. Rick sent a picture from an airport and said his boss had sent him on a business trip. Will said he lived alone in a country house. Who is lying? Rick has 2 tickets in his pocket, and Will doesn't live alone. There are 2 phones and sunglasses on the table. Therefore, Kelly chose to date Andrew.
A man had a book that was worth $50,000. There were only 2 such books in existence. He threw the book into the furnace, reducing it to a pile of soot. Why did he do this? He destroyed the book because he had both copies. After destroying one of them, there was only one left, so its value immediately went up. Mr. Brown's sons found their dad unconscious on the floor of his office. They immediately called their father's friend, Detective Smith. The detective knew that Mr. Brown was uber wealthy. His sons were going to inherit loads of money, but one of them must have needed money urgently. Smith questioned each of the brothers separately. David, the oldest, said, "I came in to feed the fish, and Dad was still fine." Marcus said that he had come in to discuss his business plans, and his father had given him some great advice. And Lucas, the youngest brother, said, "I entered Dad's office because I needed a favor. I wanted to take his car to impress the girl I like." Detective Smith immediately realized who was lying. And you? It's David. He said he had come to feed the fish. And indeed, there's an aquarium in the office. But there are no fish in it. Sarah and Liam had a son called Oliver. On Saturday, the couple went out for dinner and left Oliver at home. When they returned, the boy was nowhere to be found.
Oh no!
The anxious parents called the police. A detective arrived and questioned everyone in the house. The babysitter said she'd been packing Oliver's school bag for the next day. The maid said she'd spent the whole evening cleaning the kitchen, and the cook said he'd been preparing food for the next day. He was listening to music and didn't hear anything. The police immediately knew who was lying. And what about you? It was the babysitter. Children don't go to school on Sundays, so Oliver didn't need his school bag to be packed. Detective Adams arrived at the Museum of Modern Music because someone had stolen legendary shoes that belonged to Elvis Presley. A museum guard told the detective that they had reviewed the footage from security cameras and found out that all visitors had come in and left empty-handed, and the shoes were too bulky to put them in a pocket or under a t-shirt. Detective Adams examined the footage and said he knew who had stolen the shoes. Have you figured it out? It's the red-headed guy. When he entered the exhibition, he was shorter than other visitors. But when he was leaving, he was as tall as the others. He must be wearing Elvis's high-heeled shoes. Let's check how attentive you are. Look at this picture and try to figure out what's wrong here. The teacher is very suspicious. She doesn't get reflected in the mirror. Now, how about these people? What are they doing wrong? See that coffee machine in the background? The cup is placed incorrectly and the coffee is spilling. A witch owned a field that had many gold mines. She hired one person at a time to mine that gold for her. She promised 10% of what that person mined in a day, and they would have to give her the rest. But the witch was blind, so she had 3 magic bags that could talk. They reported how much gold they held each day, and this was how she found out if the workers were cheating. Upon getting the job, each person agreed that if they weren't honest, they would be turned into stone. Around the witch's mines, there were many stone statues. A man named Logan once accepted the job. The witch promised him, "If I wrongly accuse you of cheating, I'll be turned into stone." One night, Logan overheard the bags talking to the witch. The next evening, he submitted some gold and kept 1.6 pounds for himself. Later, the witch talked to her bags. The first bag said it held 16 pounds that day. The second one said it held 5 pounds. The third one said it held 2 pounds. The witch confronted Logan. "You think you could fool me? Now you shall turn into stone," she screamed. 1 second later, the witch turned into a stone statue herself. How did Logan deceive her? Logan put 2 pounds of gold in bag number 1, 3 pounds in bag number 2, and 11 pounds in bag number 3. He then put bag number 2 into bag number 3, and bag number 1 into bag number 2. Each of the bags only felt the weight of the gold above it. Thus, they inadvertently gave the message that 23 pounds of gold had been mined. 2 cars are driving through the city. They both started their journey at the same time. The green car is moving at a speed of 30 miles per hour. The yellow car is faster. Its speed is 50 miles per hour. And still, at one point, the green car comes across the yellow car. How is it possible? The cars are traveling in opposite directions. Larry called the police because he had some concerns about his friend Brandon. He said, "Brandon has recently returned from Brazil and has been behaving strangely since then. I've just received a weird phone call from him. I think it would be better if you came with me." When police officers picked him up, Larry gave them the address. He explained he hadn't been there yet. Brandon rented the place soon after he came back from his trip. When they arrived at the house, they saw a mess inside. There was some paint spilled on the floor, and one police officer accidentally stepped into it. Larry noticed it. "How unlucky! Let me take you to the bathroom." After that, he immediately got arrested. Why?
Uh-oh.
Larry said he'd never visited Brandon's new home before. Then how did he know where the bathroom was? John's mom got angry with the guy and locked him in his room. But she wasn't cruel. She left her son a chance to get out of there. To do it, he needed to find the answer to this riddle. Turn me on my side and I am everything. Cut me in half and I am nothing. What am I? Can you help the guy to escape? The answer is the number 8. On its side, it's infinity, but cut it in half, and you'll get 2 zeros. It's a 5-digit whole number. It reads the same, forward, backward, and upside down. Its second digit is half of the third one. The 5th digit is the product of the first and the second ones. And the sum of all the digits is 10. What number is it? It's 10801. Eric got lost in a museum. While he was trying to find a way out, it got really late. All the doors were already closed. Finally, the guy saw 3 staircases. The first one was all covered in bizarre nettles with razor-sharp leaves and long spikes. The second had giant, stinking flowers with a stench almost impossible to bear. And the third staircase was an impassable jungle of cacti. Which staircase should Eric choose? He should opt for the second staircase. Even though the flowers are gross, they're relatively harmless. When you add 5 to 6, you will get 11. But when you add 6 to 7, you will get 1. How is that possible? It's possible when you're looking at a clock. A coin is put into an empty bottle. Then this bottle is plugged with a cork. How can you remove the coin without breaking the bottle or pulling the cork out? All you need to do is push the cork into the bottle and shake the coin out.
A hat and scarf cost $110. The hat is $100 more expensive than the scarf. How much does the scarf cost? $5. It means that the hat is $105, which is exactly $100 more than the scarf. Mia was a shop assistant on a giant cruise liner. Once, she found an expensive watch in the boutique where she worked and announced it on the radio. Soon, 4 people showed up in the store. Each of them claimed it was their watch. Mia looked at all of them attentively and realized who the watch belonged to. Can you figure it out too? This man does have a watch tan line, but it's much bigger than the watch Mia found. This young girl already has a watch on her left hand. Why would she wear the second one? The elderly lady must be very absent-minded. Her dog is wearing her watch as a collar. The watch must belong to the teenager. Nick was an experienced skydiver, but one day, something went wrong. A strong gust of wind brought him to the forest. The man found himself among trees with no food or water. Soon, Nick saw 4 roads in front of him. One led to a supermassive black hole that swallowed everything that got close. The second road ended in a sea full of sharks. The third road led to a mountain that was impossible to climb over. And the fourth road ended in a bottomless abyss. Which road should Nick take? He should follow the third road. No one says he has to climb over the mountain. He can simply go around it. During which month do people sleep the least? During February, it only has 28, maximum 29 days. A man is on the run from the police after he stole 3 massive gold bars, 30 pounds each. At some point, he reaches a long bridge that can support only 260 pounds. The man weighs 200 pounds. How can he transport all 3 gold bars in one go? He has to walk across the bridge while juggling the bars. It means that at any time, only 2 bars will be on the bridge, since the third one will always be in the air. Look attentively at these 3 men carrying a log. One of them is cheating. Can you figure out who it is? It's the man in the middle. For one thing, he's wearing a suit, which is a strange choice of clothing for such a task. Plus, his face is quite relaxed, and his eyes are open. It doesn't look as if carrying the lug feels like hard work for him. One evening, Emma went to take out the trash from her coffee shop. She was about to leave when she spotted something dark in the corner behind the trash bins. It was a young woman, and she was unconscious. Emma rushed to her. The girl's bag and smartphone were lying nearby on the ground. The first person on the contact list was named Big Sis. Emma called the number and heard a female voice. "I found your sister lying on the ground. It seems someone hit her on the head." The woman was shocked and promised to come immediately. Next, Emma called the police. The sister and police officers arrived at the same time. "Arrest this woman! She's behind the attack!" And Emma pointed at the sister. Why did she say so? She didn't tell the sister where to come. How did she know the address? There are 4 cups on the counter, all of them upturned and hiding the same number of sweets underneath. Near each of the cups, there is a sign that says how many sweets are under it. The signs are 5 or 6, 7 or 8, 6 or 7, and 7 or 5. Only one of these signs is correct. How many sweets are there under each cup? Since only one sign is correct, the right number can't appear twice. Otherwise, more than one sign will be correct. It means that there are 8 sweets under each cup. Luke took part in a scientific experiment, but something went terribly wrong. He ended up in a place where there was nothing but 3 portals. One of them led to a polar desert in Antarctica. The second one opened into a volcanic crater filled with molten lava. And behind the third portal, there was the age of dinosaurs, with huge diplodocuses roaming around. Which portal should the man choose? Luke would freeze in no time in a polar desert. Molten lava isn't even an option. But diplodocuses are totally harmless to people. They only eat plants. Look at the picture attentively and say which of these people is left-handed. It's the waiter. It's easier for a left-handed person to hold the tray in the right hand and deal with the food and drinks with the left, dominant hand. Detective Henry Taylor was getting ready for work when he heard screams from his neighbor's house. He rushed there. The door was locked. The man had to kick it several times before it opened. He found his neighbor, Miss Anderson, in the living room. She was tied to a chair. "Oh, I'm so happy you heard me shouting. An hour ago, a man knocked on my door and said he was an electrician. But as soon as I let him in, he tied me up and took all the priceless paintings I had got from my grandfather, and then he just ran away." Detective Taylor had to arrest the woman for staging the theft. How did he know? When he tried to get into the house, the door was latched from the inside. Who could do it if Miss Anderson was tied up and the thief supposedly ran out of the house in a hurry? You have 5 pieces of chain, and each of them is made up of 3 links. You have to make a long chain out of these 5 pieces. Welding an open link will cost you $3, and breaking a link open is $1. Can you make a long chain if you have only $15? First, take one piece of chain and break all of its 3 links open. It'll cost you $3. Then link the remaining 4 pieces of the chain with these open links. Welding these links will cost you another $9. In total, you'll only pay $12. In the middle of a long flight, 2 passengers stood up and started to threaten the crew and passengers. They demanded $1 million in a helicopter. One of the criminals had a pilot's license and could fly a copter. When the plane landed at the nearest airport, the passengers got everything they had requested: a case full of money and a helicopter. But when they got inside, they didn't manage to fly away and were captured by the police. Why couldn't they start the machine if the helicopter didn't have any technical problems? The helicopter was okay, but there was no fuel in its tank. Michael got lost when he was walking in the forest. After hours of wandering around, he finally saw a weird-looking house that seemed to be deserted. Still, the guy decided to try his luck and ask for directions. But when he entered the house, the door shut behind his back with a loud bang, and he heard a voice, "You've entered my home uninvited. You won't leave it easily." Oh no. After that, Michael found himself in a room with 3 doors. The voice told him that only one of those doors led to freedom. Behind the first door, there were starving wolves. The second door hid a furious werewolf. And behind the third door, there was a huge, raging campfire. Which door is safe? Michael should wait until the campfire goes out and get out of the house through the third door.
Detective Smith was called to a house to investigate a burglary. Mr. Brooke claimed that someone had broken into his place and stolen his expensive watch. When the detective arrived, he saw that the front door was open and there was muddy footprints leading to the living room. He also noticed that there was some mud on the staircase. After looking around the house, Detective Smith quickly figured out who the thief was. He went upstairs and arrested Mr. Brooks' son. Why did he do that? The detective noticed that no footprints were leading out of the house, indicating that the thief was still inside. 4 friends went out for lunch. Take a look at the image and try to guess which person is the richest. It's the one on the right. The first person has a fake iPhone, so they can't be it. Then the one next to them has ripped shoes, which means she can't afford new ones. The third friend has an empty wallet. She's probably going to ask some friend to pay her part of the bill. And the fourth one has multiple black credit cards, which means they're the richest. Freddie went to the castle near his house to return a lost cat. He was greeted by an old man that invited him in. But once he stepped inside, the old man turned into an evil magician that trapped Freddie inside the castle. Then the evil magician said,
"If you manage to complete 3 tasks I give you, I'll let you go home. Otherwise, you'll be stuck here forever. Here's the first task. Help me find my glasses amongst all these vegetables."
"Can you help Freddie?" Here they are, right next to the pumpkin. For the next task, Freddie had to make a potion, and the ingredients should be added in the right order. The magician gave Freddie a piece of paper with the recipe written on it. Can you help Freddie make the potion? You got to follow the colors of the cauldrons. So first of all, you need to add curry, so the potion will turn yellow. Then you add some blueberries, and it will turn green. And finally, add some tomatoes to make the potion look brown. Well done, Freddie! Freddie's third task is to find a book in this messy room. Can you do it? It's sitting right here behind the floor lamp. Congrats, you just helped to free Freddie. Tuesday, Sam and Peter went to a restaurant for dinner. After eating, the bill was paid. But Sam and Peter did not pay the bill. Who paid the bill for them? Their friend, Tuesday. I didn't see that one coming. Atlas woke up in the attic of an abandoned house. He tried to find a way out of the house, but all he could do was find a room with 3 doors. Each door hid a different danger. The windows and floor behind the first door were made entirely of magnifying glass, which meant that the sunlight would probably burn him if he entered. The second door hid a room full of poisonous gases. And behind the third door, there was a hungry lion. What should Atlas do to escape? He should wait until it's nighttime and use the first door. Sydney told her mom that her gymnastics team would go to a sports camp for the weekend. She asked her mom to help her pack for the trip. Her mother packed everything she thought her daughter would need. When Sydney came back from the weekend, she was telling her mother all about the trip. But somewhere during the conversation, she asked her mother why she hadn't packed a toothbrush. The mother immediately knew Sydney was lying about where they had really been that weekend. How? Because Sydney's mother did pack a toothbrush, but she put it under Sydney's gymnastics clothes. If Sydney had really gone to that camp, she would have used the clothes and found the toothbrush. Kimberly discovered 3 bags in an old attic along with a note. The note said that there was $1 million inside one of the bags. It also said that the 2 other bags were empty. She only had one chance to figure out which bag had the cash. Kim knew that only one of the messages written on the bags was true. On the first bag, it said, "The cash is not here." On the second bag, it was written, "The cash is not here." The last bag read, "The cash is in the second bag." If you were Kimberly, which bag would you choose? You should choose the first bag. If only one of the clues is true, then the money is in the first bag. Becca had just arrived from a 2-week trip to Egypt. During her trip, she bought a beautiful emerald and wanted to show it to some of her friends. She decided to throw a party just for her closest friends. The next day, she noticed that the emerald was gone. Becca immediately decided to call a detective to help her find the thief. She showed him some of the pictures she had taken the night before. The detective took a quick look and already had a pretty good idea of who had done it. Take a look at these pictures. How did the detective find the culprit? Look at that girl wearing a hat. At 1 a.m., her hat is flat, but at 2 a.m., her hat suddenly turned pointy, weirdly imitating the shape of an emerald. It must have been her. It's a rainy evening, and Dylan is driving back home. He passes through a bus stop where 3 people ask him for a ride. Dylan only has 1 seat in his car to offer, but he really wants to help all of those people. There's an old lady that looks very cold. There's a doctor who claims he needs to get to the hospital for a quick appointment. And a woman that Dylan has a crush on. What's the best arrangement Dylan can make to help everyone? Dylan could lend his car to the doctor so that he could drive the old lady home. Dylan could wait at the bus stop with the girl he has a crush on until the doctor comes back and gives him his car back. Susan found out that her favorite pop band was playing a private concert for VIP clients in a luxurious club. She decided to sneak inside the club through the backyard. But unfortunately, Susan faced a strict guard behind the door. He refused to let her inside without a password. But luckily for her, there was a hint in the guard's t-shirt. The hint was 2, infinity, plus, B, D. Susan deciphered the hint and was allowed in the concert. Can you guess what the password was? It was to infinity and beyond. One afternoon, Nicole found her father, Frank, in the living room, really worried about an anonymous text he had gotten. Frank was a private investigator, and he had just received a message revealing the address of the town's most dangerous criminal, Dirty Jack. He decided to go check the area, even if he didn't know what the criminal looked like. The address turned out to be an old warehouse, and when he busted inside, he found 4 people sitting at a table playing poker. The 4 people were a carpenter, a truck driver, a mechanic, and a fireman. Without any hesitation or communication, Frank arrested the fireman. How did he know that he was a criminal? The fireman was the only male in the room. The rest of the poker players were women. Bobby and Rachel decided to go grab a cup of coffee. But when their orders arrived, Bobby's coffee came with a fly inside of it. He called the waiter and asked him to change his cup. The waiter brought another cup of coffee, but 2 seconds later, Bobby called the waiter again and said, "Hey, that's the same cup." How did he know? Because Bobby had already put sugar in his coffee, and when he tasted the liquid inside the new cup, it already had sugar inside.
You wake up in a room with no windows or doors. The ceiling is extremely high, and the only way out is a closed hatch at the very top. Suddenly, the room starts filling with water. You've checked everywhere. There's no way to turn it off. You know that help is on the way, but they won't be here for at least 5 minutes. You're pretty sure the entire room will be flooded in 2. You definitely can't hold your breath for that long. You look around and find 3 objects: a straw, some rope, and a bucket. Only one of them can actually save you in this situation. Which one should you choose, and how's it going to help? You should take the bucket, flip it over, and put your head inside when the water gets to head height. You'll have your very own small air pocket to help you breathe until help arrives. Uh-oh, you're in a building that just caught on fire. You need to escape, but the fire just keeps spreading and spreading. You're feeling dizzy, and the smoke is making it hard to see. And the heat? It's insane. Suddenly, you see 3 paths that lead outside, but it's not going to be so simple. There's no fire near the first exit, but it's on the opposite side of the burning room. The second exit is right in front of you, but the upper part is completely covered in flames. The final exit is through the kitchen. There's shattered glass everywhere, but the flames are barely touching it, and the door is wide open. Which exit should you take? Even though the first exit isn't on fire, an indoor blaze is totally unpredictable. Flames can pop up out of nowhere. Going through a kitchen is never a good idea in a fire. There might be exposed gas lines in there. Your best bet is to go for the closest path and crawl your way to safety. Well, you're stranded in the middle of a desert and are in desperate need of water. You crawl along, trying to find any source to hydrate yourself. As nighttime rolls around, the wind gets stronger and it starts to get cold. You sit down next to a tree. How are you going to find water in the middle of a desert? Grab 2 of the largest tree branches you can find, and then rip your outer shirt and stretch it out over them, kind of like a sail. Shove the 2 branches into the sand to anchor them. The water in the atmosphere will get caught on the cloth and drip down for you to collect. Well, you're tied up on some railroad tracks and can't wriggle free. There's a train heading your way, and it doesn't look like it's stopping. Oh well, if you stretch your arms out, you can just reach a lighter, a small pocket razor, and a can of oil. Which can you use to escape? Pour the oil on the ropes holding you down. It'll act as a lubricant, and you'll be able to wriggle free. Taylor finished another awesome ice fishing session. He packed up his gear and walked back home with his dinner. Halfway back to the car, he realized he was being followed by a hungry cougar. It started chasing him. Taylor was so close to his car, but the cougar was gaining on him. What should he do? He should fling the fish to the side to distract the cougar. Then he should ditch all his gear. It's just slowing him down. That way, he's got a chance of making it to the car before he turns into cougar chow. Well, you find yourself in a pitch-black room. The room is huge and there are many hallways and corridors leading to unknown places. You need to find your way out before the room starts heating up like an oven. You only have 2 minutes. You can feel some pipes on the wall but nothing else. How can you save yourself? When the pipes start heating up, they'll probably turn red. It'll already be super hot by then, but you'll have just enough time to figure out the layout of the room and find a way to escape. Angela decided to go for a nice walk in the forest. About an hour in, she tripped and spilled all her water. No problem. Right in front of her was a tiny lake, and close by a small stream and a cactus. Which one should you use to get herself a refreshing drink of water? She should head for the stream. That lake isn't moving. That means it probably has bacteria living in it. And a single cactus won't have enough water to quench your thirst. Even though the stream is pretty small, moving water is almost always the safest option. What are those things? Oh, paw prints. Those are bear tracks heading to the forest, a wolf print coming out of the forest, and some elk prints heading toward a lake. Well, what's the best place to go if you're not into the whole being eaten thing? Think fast. The bear going into the forest probably scared that large dog off. Oh, you thought those were wolf prints? Not likely. Wolves mostly travel in packs. The bear is most likely chasing the elk, so they'll both end up at the lake. That means the forest's safe for now. You're stuck in a well in a small village, and the water's already up to your knees. There's a rope leading to the mouth of the well, but it's definitely not strong enough to hold you. You look around and find a bucket, some clothing, and a lighter. How do you escape? Shove the clothes in the bucket, tie the bucket to the rope, and light the clothes on fire. Then quickly hoist the bucket up. Chances are, in such a small village, someone will see the smoke and run over to help you. There was once a magical forest inhabited by elves and gnomes. Since they didn't get along very well, they lived in two different parts of the forest to avoid all conflict. One day, centaurs invaded the forest, and elves and gnomes were forced out, running in different directions. Let's follow a small group of 6 creatures, 3 elves and 3 gnomes. They ran west, but unfortunately, they stumbled across a lake. None of them could swim, but luckily, there was a raft. The raft could only carry 2 creatures at once, 2 elves, 2 gnomes, or 1 elf and 1 gnome. So you need to figure out a way for all of them to cross the lake safely. Now, here's the problem. If there are more gnomes on one side than elves, they will attack them. Even if an elf is on the raft, but not in the part of the lake where there are more gnomes than elves, it's still not safe. Can you figure out a way for them all to cross the lake safely? Okay, so here are 5 possible first steps. 1 elf crosses the lake, or 1 gnome, or 2 elves, 2 gnomes, or 1 elf and 1 gnome. But it doesn't make any sense to cross the lake alone since they need to send the raft back somehow. So those 2 options are out. 2 elves can't cross the lake together because then the 3rd elf will be left alone with 3 gnomes and they will attack him. So it's either 2 gnomes crossing the lake first or an elf and a gnome. So let's go with the 2 gnomes. So 2 of them cross the lake and of course 1 of them has to come back. Now what? 2 elves can't leave together because the 3rd one is in danger. If an elf and a gnome leave together, then the one who is leaving will be in danger as soon as they cross the river. So 2 more gnomes leave together, and then 1 comes back. An elf and a gnome can't leave together because then there will be 3 gnomes and 1 elf on the other side. So this time, 2 elves cross the lake together. Who comes back? Not an elf, because the other one can't be left alone there. A gnome can't go back alone. Otherwise, there will be 2 gnomes and 1 elf on the first shore. So, a plot twist. An elf and a gnome come back together. Now, 2 gnomes can't cross the lake. An elf and a gnome can't go either. So, the 2 remaining elves go to the other shore together. None of them can now return since there are 2 gnomes left on that shore. So, a gnome will return to pick up one of his buddies. Then another gnome will go to pick up the last gnome. But it's not the only solution. You could also succeed by sending a gnome and an elf together as a first move. Here's a graph of how it would play out. But remember, no matter how far you travel, there's no place like Nome. Okay, great job! Now it's time for the second riddle, and this one comes from Esme. This girl often goes for a walk in a forest and typically gets lost. This time, though, she doesn't get lost. Here's her way home, but she's tempted to go visit her old friend, a witch, who lives in that forest. Esme has an amazing riddle, and it's pretty hard, so she thinks she has a good chance of winning the witch's cat. So, Esme goes to the witch's house and offers the following. I bet you can't solve my riddle. If I'm right, your cat will go home with me. The witch believes she can solve any riddle, so she takes that risk. Esme puts a big acute triangle on the table. Here, you can make 7 cuts to make this triangle disappear. Every piece you cut off that is an acute triangle will disappear. But if a triangle has an angle that is right or obtuse, that piece will stay. Once again, 7 cuts, and you have to make the whole triangle disappear. Not a single smallest piece can be left. So, how can the witch do that and keep her cat? Whenever you make a cut, it'll either produce 2 right angles or an acute and obtuse angle. The witch seems to be doomed, but then she looks at the pizza she hasn't finished. When you cut into more than 4 pieces, all angles are acute. The problem is that a pizza is round, and we're dealing with a triangle. Still, the trick also works with other shapes, like hexagons and pentagons. Good for the witch, she can make a pentagon out of this acute triangle by making just 2 cuts. The small cut-off triangles are acute, and they disappear. Now, the witch needs to deal with the pentagon like she does with a pizza. Cut it into 5 pieces using the last 5 cuts. That's a success story. Hey, we know you like the cat, Esme, but maybe get one of your own.
Anna went on vacation to Hawaii and stayed at a luxury hotel. The hotel manager told her that they had only 3 empty rooms left. Anna could choose the room she liked best. Can you help her make a wise choice? There's no mosquito net on the window in the second room, and something's wrong with the door handle in the third room. So, Anna should choose the first room. Anna went to the hotel swimming pool. She spotted 3 odd details in the area right away. Can you see them too? There's no ladder in the pool. There are 2 suns in the sky, and this guy is sunbathing in a winter coat. After lunch, Anna decided to go on a boat trip. At the pier, she met 3 sailors. Bob offered her a 3-hour sailing and fishing trip for $10 only. Kyle offered Anna a personal diving class for $200, and Daniela offered to have a boat trip around the coastal cliffs for free. But only one of these offers is actually a good deal. Can you guess which one? Kyle's offer is overpriced. Look at the poster hanging at the pier. It advertises personal diving classes for $20. And Daniela's offer isn't safe. Her boat has a broken bottom. That's why Anna should accept Bob's offer. Anna woke up on a deserted island in the middle of a hot day. The sun was shining very bright, so she needed to find a water source as soon as possible. There's the sea nearby, but she can't drink salty water. She found an abandoned cabin that contained some really handy items. 2 empty paint cans, 1 large and 1 small, a roll of aluminum foil, 1 baseball, an old pair of sneakers, and some other useful things. Which one of these additional items can Anna use to combine with the previous items to obtain drinking water? A book, a handful of tiny pebbles, or a plastic bag? The book is useless in this context. The pebbles can be found all over the shore, As for the plastic bag, Anna can fill one half of the larger paint can with seawater. Then, put the smaller can inside of it. Next, she should use the laces from the sneakers to pull the plastic bag tight over the large can. And finally, place the baseball on top of the plastic bag directly above the smaller can to make a small indentation. Then, just leave this construction in the sun. Drinking water will evaporate and condense on the plastic bag. The indentation will push the water into the smaller paint can. Anna decided to explore the island. Soon, she found a tunnel and got lost inside it. At the bottom of the tunnel, Anna saw 3 pits leading to freedom. But, unfortunately, every pit is hiding some danger. A huge squid is hiding in the first pit. There's a hungry hyena in the second pit. And there's a poisonous porcupine hiding on the third path. Can you help Anna choose the safest way to escape? Anna should choose the pit with the squid. They can't live in conditions that differ from the marine habitat. Therefore, she should wait for a while. The squid will get weaker and she'll be able to escape safely. Anna got hungry and went to the jungle to find some food. But she's not alone here. Can you find any hidden animals in this picture? There are 6 animals in the jungle. Here they are: a butterfly, an alligator, a rabbit, a camel, a snake, and a deer. Finally, Anna found 3 bushes with berries. They all look delicious, but only one of them is safe to eat. Can you help Anna make the right choice? She should take a look at the monkeys. They stay away from the first bush because it's a mutant plant. See? It has teeth and emanates toxic gases. Meanwhile, the monkeys enjoy berries from the second and third bushes. But a cobra is hiding under the third bush. So, the second bush is the safest choice. Anna got sunburned during her walk. Which item from the cabin can she use to cool down? Aluminum foil? Fresh water from the paint can? Or the sponge with some seawater? The sponge with salty water will only make it worse for Anna's irritated skin. And the drinking water is too precious to waste on bathing. Meanwhile, metallic foil is a great tool to cool down a shelter. Anna can cover the roof and the cabin walls and deflect some of the sun's heat. The next day, Anna continued her travel around the island and came across an abandoned village. She found a car with the keys still in it. The car was parked outside the local library, but before Anna could do something about it, a nearby volcano erupted. She didn't see any signs of glowing red lava, but a huge cloud of black smoke was moving towards her. It'll reach the place where Anna's standing in a minute. What should she do? 1. Head down to the library's basement, which is filled with vampire bats. 2. Take the stairs to the library's roof and hide there. Or, take the car and try to ride away. Volcanic dust is very hot and moves at high speed. Anna cannot either outrun the dust or hide from the clouds on the roof. So the safest option is to lock herself in the basement with creepy bat neighbors.
Hey, if you don't believe math can be fun, these riddles will change your opinion for good. Let's start with an easy one for a warm-up. How many 7s are there from 1 to 100? The most obvious answer would be 10. But hey, there are some extra 7s from 70 to 80, right? So the correct answer here is 19. Your next task will be to put together 8 8s to get the number 1000. You're only allowed to use addition and logic. Are you ready? So first, you need to get as close to 1,000 as you can. In our case, it'll be the number 888. From this point, it's all easy. 888 plus 88 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 equals 1,000. Here comes the first equation you're going to solve. Move only one digit to make this one correct. Easy peasy. All you gotta do is move 1 from here to here. Now it all makes sense. I am a number between 1 and 100. If you add me to my reverse, the sum is 121. What number am I? If you were looking for just one answer here, here's some news. There are many possible answers. It can be any number where the total of 2 digits is 11, 29 and 92, 38 and 47, and 74, and 56 and 65. I never thought 2 plus 3 is 8. Or maybe there's some other logic here. Try to figure it out and choose one option to finish the sequence. The correct answer here will be 125. This equation is all about cubic numbers. 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, and finally, 5 cubed is 125. Do you like matchstick puzzles? Well, here's one for you. This equation looks all wrong now. Your task is to move only one matchstick to make it right. There you go. 9 plus 0 is 9 indeed. Since you were so good, here's another one. The task is the same. Move just one matchstick to fix the equation. Wow, was it that simple? 7 plus 2 equals 9. Now, can you move 4 matchsticks to form 3 squares here? Are you ready? Yep, it was that simple. I add 6 to 11 and get 5. There's no mistake here, so can you explain how it works? You have to think outside the box with this one. I wasn't talking about just any numbers, but about the numbers on a clock. When it is 11 a.m., adding 6 hours makes it 5 p.m. No, I didn't cheat. Come on. Alrighty. Have you noticed what single digit appears most frequently between and including the numbers 1 and 1,000? This digit is 1. Every number from 1 to 9 appears the same number of times in every 10 numbers. But since we're counting up to 1,000, there's an extra number 1. In total, the number 1 appears 301 times, and every other number appears only 300 times. Now, what is the smallest number that increases by 12 when you flip it and turn it upside down? It's 86. When you turn it upside down and flip, it becomes 98, which is 12 more than 86. Now, you need to move exactly 3 matchsticks to make the equation below true. And remember, it can be solved in 3 different ways. Here are the 3 possible solutions. If you guessed at least one of them, well done! And if you thought of all 3, congrats, you're a genius! You're only allowed to move 2 matches here, and your task is to create the lowest possible number. A hint here, it can even be negative. The lowest you can go is negative 9118. Woo, you nailed it. Multiply this number by any other number and you will always get the same answer. What number am I talking about? Yep, it's 0. Whatever you multiply by 0 becomes 0. What a beautiful mathematical pyramid! But it needs some renovations. If you can move only 3 circles, can you turn it upside down? In case you thought it was impossible, there you go! You just needed to move these 3 circles. There are 7 apples on the table. You take away 3 of them. How many apples do you have now? This one is more about life than math. You took 3 apples, so you have 3 apples now. 4 apples are still on the table, but they're not yours. How many squares can you count in the image below? Friendly tip? It's not 9. The correct answer is 14 squares. Do you know the maximum number of times you can subtract 5 from 25? Well, actually, you can only do it once. This is because when you subtract 5 from 25, it becomes 20. So from this point, you're no longer subtracting from 25. Mr. Samuels passed away at a really old age, surrounded by his family. They were sad as he only had 26 birthdays. How is this possible? Looks like Mr. Samuels was born on February 29th in a leap year. This only happens every 4 years, so he had a chance to age after all. You have 26 white socks and 30 black socks, and I'm jealous. Suddenly, the lights go off so you can't see the color of the socks. How many socks do you need to grab to make sure you have at least one matching pair? You need just 3. Even in the worst-case scenario, you will pick out 1 black sock and 1 white sock, and the third one you pick will have to match one of them. If you divide 30 by 1/2 and then add 5, what number will you get? It will be 65. When you divide a fraction, it turns into a multiplication. So you need to multiply 30 times 2, which gives you 60. Then add 5, and the final number is 65. What can you put between 6 and a 7 to make the result greater than a 6 but less than a 7? It's not any number, but just a decimal. 6.7 is greater than 6, but less than 7. Can you make a true math equation using only the numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 and the symbols plus and equals? Sure you can. 2 plus 5 equals 3 plus 4. Both 2 plus 5 and 3 plus 4 equals 7. If 2 is company and 3 is a crowd, what are 4 and 5? This is some pretty basic math. 4 and 5 put together, also pronounced put together, gives us 9. I hope your logic is still strong, as you are going to need it to solve this equation. Well, first, you see that the square equals 2 and the circle is 1. So, 2 minus 1 is 1. How would you place the numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80 so that each side of the square adds up to 150? Feel free to pause the video and take some extra time for this one. Here's the correct sequence of numbers. Beautiful! Now, take a look at this numerical staircase. Guess the logic here and find the missing number. First, we multiply 7 by 2 and get 14. Then we multiply 14 by 3 and get 42. The next step is 42 multiplied by 4, and it's 168. So we need to multiply 168 by 5, and it gives us 840. My twin lives at the reverse of my house number. Can you imagine I had a twin? Never mind. Anyway, the difference between our house numbers ends in 2. What are the lowest possible numbers of our house numbers? The lowest possible numbers for the houses are 19 and 91. The difference is 72. Amy planted sunflower seeds in her back garden. Every day, the number of flowers doubles. It takes 56 days for the flowers to fill the whole garden. So how long would it take for the flowers to fill half the garden? Well, it's not 28 as you might have thought, but 55. If the number of flowers doubles every day, then half of the garden on the 55th day would turn into the whole garden in bloom the next day. Alright, moving on. This diagram only seems tricky. I'm sure you can easily guess what number should be in the middle. It's 8. If you subtract 8 from any of the bigger numbers, you'll get its opposite number as a result. So, how many of these math riddles did you manage to solve? Feel free to brag in the comments below. Bye!